fuma, I'm a soldier, benabale fuma. Ubuteko now uses guns, democracy thrown in dust. What is the purpose of the Constitution? Bale to take out with guns. You detain opposition to avoid competition. Democracy is dying. Mutotweba. Tell me who pulled the trigger. Democracy is dying. Zambia is a danger zone. Ukuvota Panchi. Oh, Mutotweka Pwaya. Hear us now. We are still here. We are still here. Democracy is dying. Mutotweka Pwaya. Tell me who pulled the trigger. Another 2 man in Dani. Democracy is dying. Zambia is a danger zone. Ukuvota Panchi. Panchi. News in the social media. Mundubile masoja ya muenela. They aimed at his life. Kaili mavoti evebana mubela. Mavoto alipela Mundubile. But my results need different story. You stole his vote. We are now a military state. Who will speak for the people? Now that Kafwaya Mwapaya votes are stolen, then what is the purpose of elections? Democracy is dying. Mutotweba Paya. Tell me who pulled the trigger. Another 2 man in Dani. Democracy is dying. Zambia is a danger zone. Ukuvota Panchi. Panchi. He came in power on democracy. He now has power through hypocrisy. Constitution is dead in front of foreign cameras. Apanumba bomfya masoja. You attack the boys at midnight without regard for their life. Finshimuti na bakateka with guns. Abateka no goofy. Who killed Mutotweka Pwaya? Who sent the assassins? Justice not rhetoric. Noti ubufya tini militia. A stupid excuse used to persecute the opposition. With fake treason. Democracy is dying. Mutotweka Pwaya. Tell me who pulled the trigger. Another 2 man in Dani. Democracy is dying. Zambia is a danger zone. Ukuvota Panchi.
Who are used to abuse fellow opposition. But there, Dr. Chakwera, Dr. Silas Chidima, and others came together for a joint petition to save the people of Malawi. It's another lesson that we Zambians must learn. But more important, it's a Malawian citizen, the Malawian voter, who did not allow their vote to be manipulated. When their vote was manipulated, they showed it. They went in the streets to express their displeasure on how somebody had stolen their votes. They did it for months on end. It encouraged the judiciary. So you can see the point here. The battle, the fight must be fought from different angles. And the citizens have many of us in this region proud that you still have a judiciary and armed members of the judiciary that are able to do what is right for their people. We must be proud of that. We understand they went through temptations, a lot of temptations, and they withstood these temptations. Money, other things we hear were thrown at them, but they understood why they're on the Constitutional Court. Because judiciary, the courts must be the place of last recourse, where we go to seek justice. Injustices are done every day in our elections. We know it here in Zambia. 2015, 2016, we know it. But in 2016, our matter was not even heard. Yet the Bill of Rights is clear that if a citizen is aggrieved about anything, they have a right to go to court. And any court of competent jurisdiction has an obligation to hear them. It didn't happen in this country. That's happened in Malawi. We're so proud of that Malawi Constitutional Court bench. I hope we can all learn something from that ruling, that you cannot continue cheating the people, the very people that gave you an opportunity to save them, especially in those roles. So congratulations to the opposition in Malawi, and one other thing we learned from Malawi is that they came together. The opposition came together. Here we have some oppositions that are surrogates of the ruling party who are used to abuse fellow opposition. But there, Dr. Chakwera, Dr. Silas Chidima, and others came together for a joint petition to save the people of Malawi. It's another lesson that we Zambians must learn. But more important, it's a Malawian citizen, the Malawian voter, who did not allow their vote to be manipulated. When their vote was manipulated, they showed it. They went in the streets to express their displeasure on how somebody had stolen their votes. They did it for months on end. It encouraged the judiciary. So you can see the point here.
Good day and welcome to today's broadcast. Kindly share the broadcast, share to as many people as possible, click the button on share. And we are back on YouTube, so even the YouTube link, share it quickly, subscribe, you subscribe on YouTube, and thank you for joining us. We have many things to discuss: the election petition and President Hakainde Hichilema's planned inauguration in spite of the challenges that are before us. Share the button, quickly share, hit that share button so that we begin. We have so many things to track and discuss, including the resignation of the vice president in Tanzania. Why does it relate to us? Why is it of importance? It's because of the speculation that arose in Dar es Salaam over his resignation. We know there's been a fallout. We know there have been deep divisions. But there was one line that attracted me, something to do with Zambia. We are yet to verify it from mainstream media, but it's raging in social media in Tanzania. So Tanzanian Vice President Emmanuel Nchimbi has officially resigned from his office, and he has announced his retirement from active and public service effective September 4th, 2026. Nchimbi, who has been in the role for less than a year, remember they went to election in October, and he was the running mate to Samia Suluhu Hassan, the president, has resigned amidst a lot of issues. Last week there was a media crackdown on censorship on a newspaper called Mwana Halisi. It exposed the deep rift divisions between the president, the vice president, and the president. In his resignation letter shared to the media, Nchimbi referenced a promise he made to President Hassan, stating that he would willingly step down whenever she felt the need for a new running mate or deputy. Now, last month, for people that track regional news, there was a fundamental statement that made news when Nchimbi, CORD attended the human rights summit, and remember there are serious human rights violation being accused on the President Hassan. So the Vice President attended that summit, and there's something he said: Tanzanians, if there's anything you want me to tell you, is that fight to get a new constitution. And this was said at a human rights stance. Now, this was a marked departure from his president, and CCM quickly issued some form of rebuke and urged him to resign if he was differing with the president. And Nchimbi becomes the first vice president in Tanzania's history to resign from the position since the country gained independence in 1964. Why are we tracking this news? There's a line that dropped on social media that one of the reasons he resigned was that he objected to the deployment of Tanzanian troops to Zambia, that Tanzanian troops were sent to Zambia. And this seems to be holding true in Zambia. Remember all those videos we've been playing where people saying, these soldiers are not even responding to us. They look different from us. Some said some were relatively too short or too tall to be Zambians. You saw those speculations. There was a reference that Brian Mpundu also made, and I have to go to the video, where he said they didn't seem to speak our local language. So is the resignation of the vice president in Tanzania somehow related? We know that the two have differed. And for those that have followed Tanzanian politics, the president, comes from mainland, the vice president would come from the island. Only two presidents have come from the island since 1961, from Zanzibar. This is Samia Suluhu and I think Hassan Mwinyi, but the rest of the presidents have all come from mainland Tanzania. And the fallout in Tanzania has been that Samia Suluhu seems to have taken a departure from John Pombe Magufuli, that radical president who died during COVID crisis. And she's embraced the mines. He wanted to recover a lot of resources from the mines, slapped a huge tax bill on mining, especially those gold mining multinationals. He began this infrastructure inward looking from domestic resources. And Samia Suluhu seems to have markedly departed, and hence Chama cha Mapinduzi nearly lost the election last year. In fact, many people say she lost the election. She did a crackdown, the playbook that President Hakainde Hichilema is following. And so this isolation, this isolated matter of a vice president resigning in Tanzania, we are tracking it. I dared put it on my page. They're already reacting fake. It's not fake news. I didn't produce the news. I didn't generate the news. I got it from the social media in Tanzania. But Bloomberg, Reuters are only saying deep rifts, and they're only quoting the official statement. If Whitney Mutale Nalumango resigned today, and she just says she wants to rest, Bloomberg and Reuters will just write like that. But you and I, who know the intricacies, will infer why such a resignation has come about. And that's why we can't dismiss the allegations that there are Tanzanian troops that were sent to Zambia to do the crackdown. Because, in fact, many of you on this forum agree with me. Zambians are eternally decent at the heart of it. That's why President Hakainde Hichilema is afraid that petition should go to court. He knows Zambians, even if he appointed those judges, he can't trust them to hear the matter, because he knows Zambians at the heart of it are good people, seek justice. There'll be few fellas that will be used as tools, the Sunday Chandas, the Robert Chavingas, and the Patrick Kang. Well, there are few isolated people that say they are so, but at the heart of it, Zambians are decent people. And he knew maybe to do what he did, to conduct the coup he has done against our democracy and against our electoral process, he couldn't trust our own Zambians to do it. I think he needed to infuse both cadres and maybe foreign soldiers, because Zambians at the heart of it are decent and they couldn't have done what is done. And so the resignation of the vice president, for us, we are tracking it. Whatever they say, remember every time we broke news here, they say it's a lie, it's fake. We tell them Mtoto Kafwa has been shot twice. They even come to the media, parade themselves that there's no such thing. They even mock us. It always comes true. They call us names, they call us propagandists, they do, but everything we say come true. So whatever they are saying about the resignation of the Tanzanian vice president, we will continue to track it. And now, there's a video I played from Kitwe where people were asking, these soldiers, they don't look like they're Zambian soldiers. When there was a crackdown in Mong, when they threw the tear gas amongst people, peaceful people that were attending Brian Munduile's rally, you remember that we identified some UPND cadres wearing police uniform and we circled them. UPND cadres wearing police uniform, and we challenged Musamba that what he had done to give uniforms to people that are not formally trained, that are formally not sworn in to wear those uniforms, was a serious crime. And one day Grafo Musamba will face that crime. And then our people were wondering, these soldiers, like when they stormed Civic Center, that they looked different. Most of them couldn't respond back. They couldn't. So did we have foreign soldiers from Tanzania as the news is buzzing in Dar es Salaam? And there is even a heavier crackdown when a newspaper tried to expose these issues. We'll be tracking that matter down. We will discuss the petition. What is happening to the petition? What is happening to the petition? We'll be discussing that particular matter just now.
I'm the chief Shushushu. I know what is happening. My friend, you can't send people to a foreign country to go and learn military skills to come and disrupt elections in this country. And they expect not to be arrested for that. You will be arrested. You commit crimes, you're on your own. Why would you send people to go and train somewhere to come and plan to kill? An opposition leader says he's prepared to kill, to be killed. Nobody wants to kill him. Now he's prepared to kill. Since there's nobody who wants to kill him, so he's willing to kill. Who is he going to kill? Fellow citizens. For what? It's competition to serve. My colleagues were in government 10 years. They did not introduce free education. Now they're saying they'll bring it. Why didn't they bring it when they were in government 10 years? They are promising, no, CDF. Why didn't they bring CDF from 1.6 million, which is only enough to build a 1x3 classroom block, to 40 million? Why didn't they do it? Why? If you as a citizen are supporting them, I'm just pointing you here because we're in an interview, you must reflect. What benefit did you get 10 years? A few people were sleeping with cash as mattresses and pillows. A few people. Where was that money coming from? From the loans, the Euro bonds, which they failed to pay. And the price was $2.3 billion of debt service. And that's the money they were accessing through fake contracts, supplying air, roads.
Oh, come on. The militia story is so dead. The militia story is so dead. What's your evidence? That JJ Banda kept on saying that, those words he was in his prayers about the president and, wishing that the president was dead. That's your evidence. That Binwa Mpundu said, we are ready to fight, we are ready to die for this election. And we are also ready to, the matter that he apologized for, quoting a war movie script. But our people do not know that's a famous war movie line. and that we sent, that Zumanzimba sent 3 people to Russia, you know, and made Bowden Findlay buy the ticket. That's your evidence, you know. Come on, the militia story is dead. Let's go to the main matter. On this platform, I think the evidence is overwhelming that President Hakainde Hichilema has conducted a coup d'etat. A coup d'etat is an illegal, please do not disturb me when I begin to speak. Please, just allow us to, hello caller.
You are online, remember?
Yes, I am.
You are live. Oh yeah, that was the sensitive information I wanted to share with you.
Okay, just hold on. Let me take a quick break in case something we need just now. Okay, colleagues, this is how the Lord helps us. We receive every call, and sometimes it does help. So let me just play this as I gather in case it's something important.
Social media, Mundubile masoja ya muenela. They aimed at his life, Kaili mavoti evebana mubela. Mavoto alipela Mundubile, but my results need different story. You stole his vote, we are now a military state. Who will speak for the people? Now that Kafwaya Mwapaya, the votes are stolen, then what is the purpose of elections? Democracy is dying. Mutati, tell me who pulled the trigger. Another 2 man in dying. Democracy is dying. Zambia is a danger zone. Who vota? Wanshi, Wanshi. He now has power through hypocrisy. Constitution is dead in front of foreign cameras. Apanumba bomfyama soldier. You attack the boys at midnight without regard for their life. Vinshimuti na bakateka with guns. Abateka no goofy. Who killed Mutotwe Kafwaya? Who sent the assassins? Justice not rhetoric. Noti ubufyatini militia. A stupid excuse used to persecute the opposition. The fake treason. Democracy is dying. Mutotwe fire. Tell me who pulled the trigger. Another 2 man in dying. Democracy is dying. Zambia is a danger zone. Who vota?
Thank you very much, and thank you for all those that help us with information. It helps us to, you know, focus on the issues. We always verify the news we get. The tip is good, but we always verify, and thank you very much. I was saying, President Hakainde Hichilema is conducting a coup right now, and he has done everything that the law does not allow. Let me show you what the African Union Charter says. I want to read it quickly. Let me just get it for you so that you understand when I make a strong allegation that the president has conducted a coup, you know what I'm talking about. Let me just get that for you quickly.
Social media, Mundubile masoja ya muenela. They aimed at his life, Kaili mavoti evebana mubela. Mavoto alipela Mundubile, but my results need different story. You stole his vote, we are now a military state. Who will speak for the people? Now that Kafwaya Mwapaya, the votes are stolen, then what is the purpose of elections? Democracy is dying. Mutotwe fire. Tell me who pulled through hypocrisy. Constitution is dead in front of foreign cameras. Up a number, boom, fiam.
Thank you very much. So, at the African Union, we have a charter where Zambia is a party to and has signed and ratified it. The African Charter on Democracy, Elections and Governance is very clear. It promotes the rule of law. It promotes principles of rule of law to promote and enhance adherence to the principles of the rule of law, premised upon the respect and the supremacy of the Constitution and constitutional order. The president can suspend counting of votes. He can suspend and close courts. He has suspended the Constitution. Promote the holding of regular, free and fair elections to institutionalize legitimate authority of representative government as well as democratic change of governments. You saw where they are changing results. The military storm poll centers and they change the results, change winners. They decide to give Chitambala Mwewa as mayor while Kiwombwe. All results are showing that Kiwombwe and Panyali, the people of Lusaka, got that message, voted overwhelmingly for both Mpundu and Inyali. They just switch and give Chitambala. Christopher Shakafuswa, same. Of course, it prohibits, rejects, and condemns unconstitutional change of government in any member state and any serious threat to stability, peace, security, and development. The very things he has breached, all of them. Promote and protect the independence of the judiciary. And I think there's 17 which bars the participation of the military in elections. So I'll be publishing it in full, the African Charter on Democracy, Elections and Governance. President Hakainde Hichilema has breached all those. What did he do? He suspended voting of, counting of votes when he was trailing behind, and the military stormed those centers, and the military then helped change those results. We have reports from Chidelawombwe Chingola. In fact, Makebi Zulu and the leaders, the alliance leaders, held that press conference to condemn what had happened, because we thought it was an isolated matter when it started from Chidelawombwe and Chingola, where the military walked into the totaling center, chased everyone and confiscated the Gen 20, and they began to change the results. We thought it was isolated. Oh, then the reports began to come across the country. They are done the same. You cannot have such an election. So what he has done is to overturn our electoral process. Inflate numbers. Look at the Southern Province numbers. All observer missions have noted the fake numbers that came from Southern Province. Voter turnout was 30%. He has inflated it. I saw Isaac Mwanza and others try to justify that the PVT show that the president won, but not to the extent of the numbers. Come on. The chain of custody of documents and ballots has been broken. You've introduced new ballot. That principle alone, you cannot trust any results. The chain of custody of documents, of ballots, was broken across the country with a military invasion and with a change of results. You have Mazabuka, where guns were drawn against elections officers who wanted to stick to the official results that was pointing to that Gary Nkombo had won that elections, and they were changed because Gary Nkombo is a personal project of the president. Gary Nkombo had to fall. Stereos Sadanis has died. They sent thugs to kill him because he was keeping Charles Longwe. Charles Longwe, who has petitioned the president's election, who has reported judges, who they are linking to Gary Nkombo. Gary Nkombo had to, he was a person of state house on the desk of the president. Gary Nkombo had to fall. And that's why, in this case, guns were drawn against the the elections officer, the returning officers, and they were forced to change the results. So what we have is a coup d'etat. It's not an election. What's coming up is not an inauguration. Who closes the courts? 2 days in a row, they've closed the courts. Who closes courts? Where do you close courts? Even the worst dictators, at least to give a semblance of a court hearing, so that even when they manipulate the court outcome, they will say the court said that our judiciary is independent. And now let's discuss what's happening at the judiciary and the election petition. There was heartwarming news 3 hours ago when Kalumba Sambisha Slavin, who's Deputy Director, Corporate Communications at the judiciary, issued this statement. She said, receipt of presidential petition sent to the Chief Justice's private email, Lusaka, 25th August 2026. The Honorable Chief Justice, Dr. Mumba Malila, State Council, acknowledges receipt of an electronic mail communication sent to his private email address by a member of the public. The email contains documentation designated as the People's Presidential Petition, which seeks to challenge the outcome of the presidential election held during August 13th and associated documents. The judiciary is aware of the ongoing social media assertions claiming that this petition has been formally and duly filed. Remember, I told you in the morning at our breakfast show that someone from the UPND, probably from State House, had written an opinion that such an application by Linda Kasonde, Brebna Changala, was not valid, and they did a deep write-up of how that was invalid. And it was circulated. I saw it, a few of these UPND members of the M23 publish it. One of them was Oliver Shalala, who published that opinion that it was not valid. So the Chief Justice is responding to that to those write-ups. While the Chief Justice finds the mode of communication of official court documents through his private address to be highly irregular, and that word you have to choose to underline it. He has another word to underline. He has quite exceptionally. So this is a great exception because the circumstances are highly, highly irregular. President Hichilema closed the courts. Using his administrative powers, remember, he's head of the judiciary. He is the head of the judiciary. So he says, using his administrative powers, he has referred the documents received to the Constitutional Court for its consideration on the issue of the filing of the petition, and expects that the affected parties will hear from that court in due course. This warmed your hearts up, but it still doesn't take away the fundamental issues. On the side of Linda Kasonde and the people of Zambia, they are saying, you have closed courts. You didn't just close courts. First, you arrested the people that were preparing the petition, Celestine Mukandila, who's the Secretary General of Tonse Pamoze Alliance. You bought Zumanzimba. You bought NRPUP leadership. They held press conferences to dissociate themselves from the petition by Brian Mundwil and Makebe Zulu. You arrested even one person who was coordinating with Linda Kasonde, and we'll name them in due course when the family allows us to. You have been disruptive in ensuring that the process doesn't take place. You even arrested an acting security chief of the Supreme Court grounds. You have tried very hard to scandalize Jonas Zimba, who had taken a trip to Southern Province to demonstrate that your numbers that they read that you had won in Southern Province, which has given you a boost of almost 1 million votes, that those numbers were fake. You scandalized him, even arrested an immigration officer. On the day of filing of nominations, the deadline, you still was not sure if your earlier measures to take over NRPUP and Resolute Party, to arrest Celestine Mukandila, arrest witnesses that were gathering, by Zumanzimba and NRPUP president and vice president, you were still not satisfied, harass Jonas Zimba. You were still not satisfied that the petition, you've handled the matter of the petition. You were so scared, so insecure, that you ordered the unilateral closure of the courts of law countrywide. You didn't even want to take a chance that maybe someone can file at the local court. You didn't want such a chance. And you deployed the police and the military to secure all courts premises across the country, especially the superior courts, high court, naku industrial court. Can you imagine? Court of Appeal, even that was sealed. And you proceeded to close selected ministries like the DPP's office and Ministry of Justice, chambers that could receive, after filing of nominations, the papers. You stopped the petition. We blasted the Chief Justice. I personally made an addendum and reported him to the African Union, because this is a son of the African Union. He has sat, he's been our vice chairperson at the African Human Rights Court, and he's been a representative to the United Nations on behalf of the African Union. I thought that if I pushed that moral envelope, this Chief Justice, who will remember that he has a standing in Africa and at the United Nations, and he's just no ordinary Chief Justice. He's one that should be celebrated. But his activities the last 5 years have been but despicable, nothing else. Here, in trying to save face, at least he has issued this public statement. Just before we could celebrate, just before we could think that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, we saw Secretary to Cabinet, Patrick Kangwa. Yeah, Patrick Kangwa. What is your view about Patrick Kangwa? Quickly comment. I read your comment. What do you think of Patrick Kangwa? The way he has conducted himself over the Edgar Lungu funeral and this entire debacle is I don't know, Patrick, how far he has fallen. So he says, following this serves to inform the nation that at the expiration of the 7 days required for filing of a petition challenging a presidential election, the judiciary did not receive any petition. In this regard, the swearing in of the president-elect, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema S, will take place on Tuesday, 1st September 2026, in accordance with the provision of the Constitution, Act number 2 of 2016. Now, the judiciary said they've received the petition. The Chief Justice says the circumstances are highly irregular, but he has exceptionally forwarded the matter to the Constitutional Court for consideration. Here, Patrick Kangwa, Secretary to Cabinet, says, what? What petition? The 7 days expired. What are you talking about? And now, after we published his letter, he's so embarrassed that they've leaked the story on which Patrick Kangwa based his opinion. Because he wants to say, so there's a communication by Nalishevo Imata. We mentioned her yesterday. She's a judiciary administrator, and this is what she wrote to the Secretary to Cabinet, where Secretary to Cabinet Kangwa has based his letter. She wrote, 2026 presidential election petition update. Page 1 to Articles 101, Sabbatical 4, and 103, Sabbatical 1 of the Constitution of Zambia as amended by Act number 2 of 2016 and read together with Order 17 Rule 1 of the Constitutional Court Rules and Statutory Instrument number 33 of 2026, a person may within 7 days of the declaration of a president-elect petition the Constitutional Court to nullify the election of the president on the ground that that person was not validly elected, or that provision of the Constitution or other laws relating to presidential elections were not complied with. Further, under Order 17, Rule 8 of the rules, the Constitutional Court Registry is for purposes of a presidential election petition open from 8:30 hours to 18 hours. Following the 2026 presidential election and the declaration of Mr. Hakainde S as president-elect between 02 a.m. and 6 a.m. on Tuesday, 18th August, no petition has been filed in the Constitutional Court Registry as at 18 hours yesterday, 24th August 2026. Submitted for your information, Nalishego Imata, Judicial Administrator, Court Administrator. So here we are. Head of the Judiciary issues a statement. Secretary to Cabinet says, what? 7 days has expired. And your own judicial officer wrote this letter to me. We are proceeding with the inauguration of the president. The charter I talked about prohibits the inauguration of the president until all matters are resolved. The African Charter on Governance and Elections prohibits the inauguration of a president where matters have not been resolved. Matters have not been resolved. Secretary to Cabinet, you can proceed with the inauguration of the president until this petition is heard. Who do we listen to? Secretary to Cabinet or head of the judiciary? Or an administrator in the judiciary who wrote the letter yesterday? This is a crisis of great proportion we are facing. I am not surprised because I've already declared that President Hakainde Hichilema is involved in a coup d'etat. He's taking over. His term expired. Okay? The law allows him to carry on until we have another president. His term expired. He's trying to get a second term fraudulently. He has manipulated election results. He has deployed the army who helped manipulate the results. He halted when the candidate, his rival, was leading. He halted the count of votes between 8 hours and 12 hours until he set in the military to change those ballots and put stuffed ballots. He closed the courts yesterday and today, and the courts remains closed. He's using Musamba Grafel, Inspector General of Police. Remember, who does Musamba report to? Who does Musamba report to? Who does Zambia Army Commander report to? So in whose powers is Grafel Musamba acting in the powers of the president? A president whose term has expired. A president who has been declared that has been re-elected, but he has committed all these fraudulent activities. And when there's an attempt to check and question and test the veracity of the evidence that has declared him president, he closes the court and he says there is a security risk. What security risk? Of the militia that you have created in your mind. You asked Zumani to send people to Russia because you planted it, because you have First Quantum on one side that's planning with you, Tony Blair on the other side that's planning with you, Greg Mills. They've done these elections manipulation in Africa for so many years. They are playing the book. Zumani was your weakest link to Brian Mundubile. He sends people to Russia. When they come back, you come and accuse Brian Mundubile of sending people to Russia when it was your plot and plan. And poor Vauden Finlay, who just loves our country, buys those tickets, and now is in prison, accused of financing terrorism. You plan and plot all these activities, and then you say that there is a threat of nationals. Your own threat that you have created. We remember the Black Mamba story. Young people and teenagers may not remember the Black Mamba story, but we remember how you create your own crisis, a controlled demolition. but you know you're controlling it. But there'll be a demolition, but you control it. And this is what you are doing. So you have manipulated results. You have sent the army. You've attempted to assassinate your rival, who many people believed won the election. You close courts and you want to rush to inauguration. What is that? It's a coup d'etat, nothing else. This morning I said, how do you tell a duck? If it looks like one, it quacks like one, walks like one, swims like one, you are not far to say it is a duck. What has happened in Zambia is a coup d'etat in the making. And our citizens are so paralyzed. They still believe in institutions. They still believe that people will act proper. President Hakainde Hichilema doesn't believe in any of these institutions. He can't even trust his own courts. He can't even trust his own army to maintain law and order. He has to bring foreign troops. Come on, come on. We'll go to the matter of Brian Mpundu. I give you an update with the UN, with President Hakainde Hichilema demanding that they should be released to the police to face treason and insurrection charges. We come and discuss the update. And they've closed major roads because in their discussion this evening, I think there's an attempt. I don't know what, I'm yet to get an update of what they agreed on. But Hichilema has told the UN that they should surrender Brian Mpundu and Makebi Zulu. There was an attempt that they should be released to a third party or a third country or a third embassy. I'll tell you the details of those matters. But this evening I can report to you that soldiers, for example, have gathered at Makeni Westwood. They've closed that path. There are soldiers that have taken over. That's a security point that is usually manned just by the police. But the number of soldiers that have taken over that place, and I hear other entry points are also reporting the same. If you have heard anything, for Makeni Westwood, I've received a confirmed report that soldiers have taken over and they've deployed on that place, on Makeni Westwood. So we'll tell you more.
Social media, Mundubile masoja ya muenela. They aimed at his life. Kaili mavote vebana mubela. Mavote walipela Mundubile, but my results need different story. You stole his vote. We are now a military state. Who will speak for the people? Now that Kafwaya Mwapaya, the votes are stolen. Then what is the purpose of elections? Democracy is dying. Mutati, tell me who pulled the trigger. Another 2 man in dying. Democracy is dying. Zambia is a danger zone. Huku vota Wanshi, Wanshi. He now has power through hypocrisy. Constitution is dead in front of foreign cameras. Up a number, boom, my soldier. You attack the boys at midnight without regard for their life. Vinshimuti na bakateka with guns. Abateka, no goofy. Who killed Mutotwe Kafwaya? Who sent the assassins? Justice, not rhetoric. Noti ubufiatini militia. A stupid excuse used to persecute the opposition. The fake treason. Democracy is dying. Mutotwe fire. Tell me who pulled the trigger. Another 2 man in dying. masoja benabale kuma. Ubuteko now uses guns. Democracy thrown in dance. What is the purpose of the Constitution? Ballet to take out with guns. You detain opposition to avoid competition. Democracy is dying. Mutati. Tell me who pulled the trigger. Democracy is dying.
Tanzania's Vice President Emmanuel Chimbi has resigned.
News in the social media. Mundubile masoja ya muenela. They aimed at his life. Kylie Mavo.
Tanzania's Vice President Emmanuel Chimbi has resigned from politics and public service, saying he wants to respect President Samia Suluhu Hassan's wishes. Nchimbi announced that his resignation will take effect on September 4th, saying he had promised to step down if the president wanted a different vice president. The move comes just 1 week after Tanzania suspended the critical Mwanahalisi newspaper over a report alleging tensions between Nchimbi and Hassan. The development adds to concerns over political and civil rights in Tanzania. Hundreds of people were killed during unrest surrounding last year's election, which Hassan won with 98% of the vote, despite criticism from international observers. Hassan initially drew praise after taking office in March 2021, following the death of President John Magufuli, for easing restrictions on opposition parties and the media. But critics now accuse her government of reversing those reforms. Nchimbi's resignation could further fuel questions about political division and the direction of the government ahead.
Thank you very much. I told you that we are tracking the news of the Vice President of Tanzania's resignation. They've been debriefed. The official letter doesn't cite reasons, but it only cites what his promise was, that if at any time he felt that the president needed another vice president, he would voluntarily resign. And 11 months into the job, he has resigned. But it's a social media in Tanzania that cited that there have been rifts, but the last straw appear to have been the deployment of troops to Zambia. And that he said in his conscience he couldn't be part to a decision that undermines a brotherly state. The two are sister republics. The Kaunda and Nyerere literally were like twins. You know, we brought in Tanzania, Zambia, Mafuta, which is Tazama. We brought in Zambia, Tanzania, Zambia Rail, which is Tazara. Zambia was given a port, part of the port, a special land where, we built the tanks for our fuel, and also where railway could discharge from. We have our own land given by Tanzania. We have such a symbiotic relationship between the two states, historical relations, and then how the two worked with the liberation struggle, and how they led to ensure that liberation movements were housed in Zambia and Tanzania. The military wings shifted from Zambia because Zambia was in the line of fire. We formed the frontline states together, and the suit in Tanzania is called Kaunda suit. The safaris that Kaunda would wear would be called the Nyerere safari suit. Up to now in East Africa, when someone wants a certain type of suit, they call the Kaunda suit. Do you know about the Kaunda suit? Comment in the links below, and you'll be surprised when you are in Kenya, you are in Tanzania, you are in Rwanda, you are in Burundi, and in these Uganda, East African countries, you hear about the Kaunda suit. Tell me, which one is a Kaunda suit? Give me a picture of which one is a Kaunda suit. That's how symbiotic the relationship were. And the vice president says, I cannot be party. I cannot be party to those decisions. We are yet to verify that information, but it's dominated social media. That of course there have been differences, but the last straw to the vice president's resignation was exactly that. Last month, he caused a stir when he called for Tanzanians to demand for constitutional reforms. Remember, that was one the position of the president. So there is a resignation of the vice president of Tanzania, and we are interested to pursue exactly the details, and if it's truly the last straw was the issues regarding Zambia.
Tanzania's Vice President Emmanuel Nchimbi has resigned from politics and public service, saying he wants to respect President Samia Suluhu Hassan's wishes. Nchimbi announced that his resignation will take effect on September 4th, saying he had promised to step down if the president wanted a different vice president. The move comes just 1 week after Tanzania suspended the critical Mwanahalisi newspaper over a report alleging tensions between Nchimbi and Hassan. The development adds to concerns over political and civil rights in Tanzania. Hundreds of people were killed during unrest surrounding last year's election, which Hassan won with 98% of the vote, despite criticism from international observers. Hassan initially drew praise after taking office in March 2021, following the death of President John Magufuli, for easing restrictions on opposition parties and the media. But critics now accuse her government of reversing those reforms. Nchimbi's resignation could further fuel questions about political division and the direction of the government ahead.
Thank you very much, and continue to share the broadcast. We'll be opening the phone lines, but let's discuss the matter regarding Brian Mpundu. The representative of the United Nations is in the country, and he was sent from the office of the Secretary General, a special envoy, and I think a special rapporteur. I don't know, the media have not named him or her, but appears to be a special rapporteur. I'll get the details later, but I got the confirmation that he was on his way to Lusaka, and he must have arrived on Sunday and began the meetings yesterday. There is a standoff. The Zambian government is demanding that Brian Mpundu and Makebi Zulu must be surrendered to the police. And the international rights, international law, will not encourage you to be sent to people that want to send you to death, to face death charges, gallows or treason. So they may not hand over President Honorable Brian Mpundu and Makebi Zulu, but the state is insisting. They're even saying, allow them to come to the police. You can even send representative of the United Nations, and then they can witness the interrogation, then they'll be released to you. Can you believe that? Who can believe that? Because we know the plans they have. As soon as Brian Mpundu and Makebi Zulu steps out of the UN compound, the first thing that they're doing is raiding that car, because it will be in Zambian territory. When they are in the UN compound, it's international territory. There's nothing they can do about it. But as soon as they step out of that UN compound, the police will swing in. Even the assurances the Zambian government is giving that, you know, you can accompany the UN. We just want to talk. We just want to talk to Brian Mpundu and Makebi Zulu. The police just want to ask some questions. Can you believe that naivety? The UN has proposed that Brian Mpundu and Makebi Zulu must be sent to a third party, either a third embassy, or must be given to be taken out of the country. The Zambian government has refused. And the time is ticking. I know the special rapporteur is in the country for a limited time because there are activities at the UN that are taking place. We have what we call UNGA, United Nations General Assembly, that take place once every year. President Hakainde Hichilema only attended the one in 2021, and I think the one in 2022. After that, he has never attended any UNGA because now he was being shamed by these UN reports that was victimizing political opponents, was abusing human rights, he was subjecting people to prolonged detention. A journalist from Nigeria, and I'll share with you, took interest in the story that I declared that the president has conducted the coup d'etat, and they want us to discuss. So I'll be on their podcast and I'll share it with you today. Said, but what do you mean? So when I was explaining the ingredients, she says, but there is no state of emergency. I said, there is. That's how illegal this man is. He's doing powers that he can only draw from a state of emergency. Locking people without appearing or without charges. Now as long as 17, 18 days. Those powers are only inherent in the Security Powers Act gives you when you have declared a state of emergency. He has suspended the Constitution. Because if he followed the Constitution, he would not subject people to prolonged detention. Can you imagine he put Vauden Findlay for 15 days in a container without windows, without anything? In a container. Even a pig would protest for 15 days. So this is a man that is using the powers of state of emergency without declaring the state of emergency. This is a man who's closing down courts of law. He's a man that could suspend counting of votes because his opponent was ahead. Tell me what that is. He's conducted military raids and assassinated Mtoto Kafuaya, and Brian Mundwile survived. Tell me what that is. Is that a rule of law? Is that normal to kill people? Is it normal for your military to kill people? Is it normal? No, no, no. So, and in many cases, the raids are without warrants. Without warrants whatsoever. And you want to state that he's a man that has literally suspended the Constitution because he would not have touched the judiciary. If there was no coup, the Secretary to Cabinet would not write such a letter. I've seen a comment by someone when I asked what has become of what Patrick Kangwa, and someone says he's Tabokawana 2.0. Mwansekesha, yes, but Patrick Kangwa has become Tabokawana 2.0. So what we have is a coup in progress, Constitution suspended, none of institutions are working other than at the direction of the president. No semblance, they are not even hiding. And there is the EU observer mission in the country. There is the African Union observer mission in the country. There is a SADC observer mission in the country. We still have international journalists. And in the glare of all this, we don't even bother to hide. Come on, come on. The courts remain closed to date. But this young lady, look at the foolishness of her statement. Narisheboy Mata, look at the foolishness of her statement. Following the 2026 presidential elections and the declaration of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema as president-elect between 02 a.m. and 6 a.m. on Tuesday, 18th August, no petition has been filed in the Constitutional Court Registry as at 18 hours yesterday, 24th August 2026. The registry was open. People tried to file a petition on Saturday. You arrested your chief security officer. You said, why did you open? Why did you allow them on Saturday? During the 7-day period, the registry must be open. You've arrested your own officer, Zimba, for allowing people that wanted to petition, to file a petition on Saturday. Now you are telling us that the constitutional registry has been open, and as at 18 hours, no one had filed. Everyone that attempted to file, you've either arrested them, rounded them up, accused them of foreigners like Celestine Mkandila. You've done everything possible to prevent that petition. Linda Kasonde had to send her application to the Chief Justice. You are saying you can file e-filing like our dear brother, lawyer Charlie was saying. But the portal doesn't work, and it hasn't worked since 2021. So what do you mean you can file online? To a portal that doesn't work, that doesn't even receive email. Come on. So this is where we are. We are at a precarious situation as a country, and citizens are paralyzed into inaction. You saw every time I opened the phone lines, they are saying, no, the international community, no, let's speak to Donald Trump, no. They forget that this is inherent only to them. It's only Zambians that can stop this, no one else. And I keep on telling you, no one is coming. No one is coming. That should sink in. No one is coming other than ourselves. It's either we allow President Hakainde Hichilema to conduct, his term expired, he's a transition leader during this period. He's supposed to hand over to a president that has been elected. He sees it as falsely, fraudulently declared him as president. There's been an attempt to check that record. He closes the courts. Only you citizens, some will no by UN, ngakwa ICC, ngakwisa United Nations. Yes, we are writing. I've written letters to the UN, I've written to the African Union, I've written to His Excellency, the Burundian president who's current chair. I've written to the observer mission, the joint observer mission, COMESA African Union. I've written to SADC. I have written the letters you want us to do. We have written the letters, but help is coming from nowhere other than from Zambians. If we want to admit, there were some people that were saying, Mulekeni fie, yo, le somu inewe ishive, tukamona mu 2031. Who tells you there'll be 2031? Kamola la Labour TV ata, mulekeni fie, tukamona pa manthendi limbi tukashita imbi. Come on, I thought you'd report him to the police, or you try to stop the thief from taking your TV. Umuntu waisa pa plot pa mienu. Wechilife kulile somu inewe ishive, because yani plot yandi. Nombefi bachita, come on. You have to reclaim your plot. It's your plot. You bought it with your hard-sweated money. Yes, the Lord will help us. He will help us immensely. But just look at all the miracles that the Lord Jesus Christ did. His first miracle, he goes to a wedding, and the wedding runs out of wine. He didn't say brakadabra and wine comes. He said, no, bring your water. They brought the water, then it turned into wine, and the wine was better. If he found the blind, it would touch the soil. The Lord, if he wanted to feed the 5,000, he asked for food. Who has food here? A young man had 2 fishes, the other one had 5 loaves of bread, and they fed the 5,000. There is something physical the Lord asked for. You as Zambians, you want Donald Trump to help you. You want, no, ICC should indict him. No one will do it other than yourself. It has to be you. This is your election. You went to vote. You made the choice. The president has a duty. The president swore to our constitution. We, the people, he swore to that constitution. That constitution is ours. The one is suspending without powers or anything. This is your matter, Zambians. It is not anyone. No one is coming from somewhere to help us other than ourselves. If you look at everyone that has been arrested, up to 300, someone brought it to my attention. You know, I don't discuss tribe. He says all of them are from one region. This is a regional persecution. Even when we had other tribes in the alliance, only one region has been arrested. I end there. I don't discuss issues of tribe or ethnicity. I try to stay away as much as possible. So I still hold that we have a coup d'etat in the making. We have a constitution that has been suspended. We have people that are being subjected to prolonged detention. Only if the constitution is suspended, only can you detain people for such a long time without a due care to what the law says. And now you want Brian Mpundu and Makebi Zulu to be surrendered to such a system. Brian Mpundu, who has just survived an assassination attempt. Are we being fair that Brian should be handed over to the Inspector General of Police? Are we being fair? Now they've surrounded entry points. I don't know if in their agreement with the with the UN, they had agreed that they'll release Brian Mpundu and he'll be taken by road, because we can't understand the mobilization of soldiers that has taken place, like the one that has taken place at Westwood in Makeni. And I'm told down the entrance from Mumbwa, but you can confirm you're the one on the ground. But for the one on Makeni, there is heavy police and soldier presence at that Westwood Makeni. Let us now handle this matter. The lines are open. Let's discuss the three issues we're discussing. The matters of the election petition, whether to be heard or not, and the desire by Secretary to Cabinet to proceed with the inauguration of the President. Let us continue with that.
Wake up to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth look at daily stories. Live on EMV, I'm talking about Emmanuel Mwamba Verified.
Tanzania's Vice President Emmanuel Chimbi has resigned from politics and public service, saying he wants to respect President Samia Suluhu Hassan's wishes. Chimbi announced that his resignation will take effect on September 4th, saying he had promised to step down if the president wanted a different vice president. The move comes just 1 week after Tanzania suspended the critical Halisi newspaper over a report alleging tensions between Chimbi and Hassan. The development adds to concerns over political and civil rights in Tanzania. Hundreds of people were killed during arrests surrounding last year's election, which Hassan won with 98% of the vote, despite criticism from international observers. Hassan initially drew praise after taking office in March 2021, following the death of President John Magufuli, for easing restrictions on opposition parties and the media. But critics now accuse her government of reversing those reforms. Nchimbi's resignation could further fuel questions about political division and the direction of the government ahead.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Mwamba. Then kambeni ni chizungu, nkamba chinyanja.
Ziko Mwamai, kambani.
Leo ninadandaula Mwamba kuchitika kumunzuko. Vapaka. Niye kuti lamulo yune na kuti mfumu angavale mabungo yonse, kuvala mabungo yonse kuti bantu osati waende kuti chini mtu wa mtundu kwanji. Niye kuti muntu kankhala msogoleri, niye kuti nkukatilira vonse wewe vonse watola vonse livako nishino usogoleri wa bwanji. One shiratu patuwa kuti usogoleri muli abandala mulibe ndaba muli nkhanza na njiru na kuononga. Mwaona chifukwa chakuti muntu wena unkhala kuti unkhale msogoleri usogolere bantu osati nyama. Onani bantu mwakufuira, onani bantu mwakubamangira balibe na chifukwa. Niye kuti ziko la Zambia yankhalaloba ni mchalo chanji chili muziko la Zambia. koma mulungu atimenyere nkondo muzambia ndaba ziko yenda muchionongeko chifukwa mulungu mwini atimenyere nkondo. David na Goliath oyenera umozi kuchita kwanji kuchoka ndaba ziko ifunika kuti omuntu nkale msogoleri w'abantu osati msogoleri nkale msogoleri chikanga nyama zungala na msogoleri ambana nji bantu nanji bantu kuliye ziko iliye malamulo chikangolo pamunzi mfumu ina malamulo pantu bake bantu bakanena kuti malamulo ayatayakana mfumu nikumvira bantu manje bebe kulibe nishi usogolere wa uli bwanje palibe usogolere apa nuonekera tupotuwa kuti usogolere muri bebe mulibe chifukwa baliye chikondi na muntu baliye chifundo na muntu bose vakupeka vonena kuti neo wonizonda neo chifukwa cha mtundu ni wenye ni bebe vyamba ni mwine vyamba. So bantu mweno tandizira tenti bantu mtigulizani titandizire kuti ziko ingale na mtendere na batu na mtendere mwenenera kaunda chikanga kaunda bekamba kuti abantu sibali gwiro nchoona tavuona namba kuti nivazoona mwayiona vuonekera tupotuwa kuti nizoona umuntu aliye chikondi na muntu aliye chikondi na chifundo na muntu alipide tu chifundo na muntu abo bantu bose bemangiwa bose wechitanji mujeri baliye na vifuko iyo mitembo y'abantu bechifu abo bonse bantu abechifu baba panse bene bazikire maliro bawo osati tizinkala so muziko yayi ziko mama.
Iskomo, thank you very much, Mama. Thank you very much. Alokola, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Okay, I'm anonymous from Dola.
Yes.
Ambassador, I wanted to add a voice to these things. I'm saddened by whether it's a statement from the Secretary to the Cabinet. You see, the Chief Justice, the Office of the Chief Justice has acknowledged the seat of the petition. So this man is saying they will go ahead with the inauguration. And in fact, from the communication we were reading, the Chief Justice has referred the thing to the Constitutional Court. So what powers or what constitutional clause is the Secretary to the Cabinet centering his argument on? Because the Chief Justice has received the petition and he has referred to the Constitutional Court. Why the hurry? You know, there are some things, I think Javanese were by 1 second. They always think after they mess up things. There are some things that are straightforward. You know, sometimes it's even important, you know, this job on training people do before they enter offices. I think these guys, they deserve, they could have gone through some training because they are abusing a lot of things. It's like they don't know the procedures and the protocols. How do you go and start forcing the UN to release people who are kept under the Geneva White Flag? Who does that? I think these people, they are just overzealous and these things will backfire at one point because they are more or less like hungering everyone. You can look at the endorsement. There is no Southern African president who has congratulated our president. They should be able to know that something is wrong. All election observers, they've cited something, one or two things were happening in the election. Still, their cadres are still saying, no, we are still a sovereign country. Why are they getting involved? You are questioning people who fund your elections. You are questioning people who introduced democracy to you. You are questioning them like that. I think these people, like I said, Bali Sharirana 1 second, they deserve to be disciplined by the international community. I know you today, Ambassador, you are upset that the international community will not come. But they will definitely play a role. And I know the meeting in Angola, that will be taking place for the African Union. I think this issue will be #1 item on the agenda. I end there.
Thank you very much. The lines are open. Make your contribution, make your call. So that even the program, you rest, we all rest. Because as far as the program is on, you are also not resting. So let's quickly get your views and end the program Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Anonymous from Lusaka.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Mamba, I have questions concerning what is happening in Zambia. Now, HH has gone beyond the repair. Now, what is the use of SADC, Commonwealth, the superpower, UN, if HH can be able to kill people, can be able to mess up with everything in the country, and these unions or organizations pretend to be there for people? What is the use? Now, where are we going to go to report our issues? Because HH is now untouchable. So I need the clarity on this one. Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Yes.
That first question I try to push. So if you try to get into the understand. Bajaji, Balande, Fiba, Deni, Bakangona, Balande. It's very complicated. Because this again, you come as a Rundurato, Lava, Chingukaya, Nekare House, Yakwa, video, and very poor Mpundu. Nobody is very for instance. So, don't say free confusion if you have a figure confusion now. Baba is very at body, on a number for a film by Marka. Who do you say who Baba Fair Mobile Buffet no quick pass? Over the Umuro Pamela no more. If you have a right away paper and go so far, for a Baba quick. Nobody very rough. Okura pepa fe no kura no kupuni go fini ba ko sere ku fe awe ba America nga chotiro awe na ko bari awe mundu bire ba ko se fino ta to ba kura ba susunkanya ni office imbire bera tolo munguru mu office yabe munguru ba ushefi muzambe mu munguru bera utora ku bantu ba mafore na zao bare ke fo munguru tatwa na poro bulifu bera mbo munguru.
Thank you. Please call. Let's receive your views quickly. This program is sustained by you callers. I pay prominence. Other than my analysis, I pay prominence to you, the callers. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Anonymous from Lusaka.
Make your contribution.
The man behind all this chaos is Ziele. Ziele is the one that has done this coup d'etat. So I hope the army officers are listening in and they should know what to do this man. Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contributions. Hello. Ni mweba ni mkwaila ndeni po. Mkwaila ndeni ama mweba ni make your contribution.
I'm quite anonymous calling from Undola. Hello.
Ba anonymous mshemune fo kulanda nangu yo.
Mambara na chapo kulanda pona ti tatuishive fo kuteko wabantu abatukwete ngaba fiero kubantu ngaba fiero kuisa mwanjini. It's very confused abantu. Twachumpa no mbali napa tawe petition na basumina na ya kuisa futi they are follow that they'll go on with the inauguration ceremony. So we don't know what's happening and what they are trying to tell the Zambian people, because the Zambian people, they have already known that petition it has gone through. Again, they are robbers posting that they'll go on with the inauguration ceremony. So we don't know what's happening now. And the Vambokula Kwarunguru number 40 ku UN. The Vambokula Twari Chwera Putia. Omunguru wabo ngefe bachanda wa previous kora obrother baninzi bawushinje muzambio kokwine ichimanani cyabo cyo baiba kudia bachinzike kwa maofisi y'abana they should have been some offices, take also population offices, please to a fat. Abasheko to a today to them on it, Umbuba, Sheko, Babubiko, Sunday, the Amkula Toru, North City. I thank you very much, Ramon.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Oh. Yes, caller. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Amamba.
Good evening.
Anonymous calling from Mondola.
Anonymous, make your contribution.
Thank you so very much. To start with, we appreciate the work that you are doing for the Zambians. And
Thank you very much.
It's unfortunate that most of the callers that are getting through to your platform, we seem not to know what we want. And it won't help us to be crying like, we want the UN, the whatever to help us. The only solution that we have, Bamwamba, it is ourselves, the Zambians. We've seen whatever that they are planning, what they are playing, it has been there in black and white. And we know, like it has even been written, that this man won't concede to anything, and you go ahead with the inauguration, it is there. So it is up to us, the Zambians. Himself is on a record. When it happened to him, he was calling for the Zambians and even praising the Malawans what they did. What is wrong with us Zambians? Surely, are we going to continue just crying? Lamwamba, I think Zambians, it's high time we got serious and we stop crying like we are crying. We've got to do something that should show this man that not everyone will buy into what he's doing. I thank you so very much, Mama.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contributions. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Yeah, giving through your contribution, this anonymous getting the affiliate sticker. We gave him opportunity. That was in 2016. And they failed to deliver in these 5 years. And majority of Zambia, let me say 80%, were sad because we did not vote for him. He shouldn't force him to be our president. So he should allow that petition to go through, because even today or tomorrow, if they can allow to have a re-election, he will lose by 30%. Not a who are appealing as Zambian, who are crying, who are suffering. HH has killed a lot of people. We call upon the AU to come for our cry. Please, 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 Mr. Mamba, continue with what you are doing. We are so grateful. But one thing is, we are not happy with his leadership and we don't want him. He shouldn't force himself on us Zambians. Thank you. I end here.
Thank you very much. Let me take 2 phone calls. I've got a special guest, Chandakazi, has joined me from Canada, and I want to hear his views. Let me take Bachanda Mwaisen.
Mkwaiwa mwa umbeni achalo champondo imwe. German machine.
Our German machine yanaka. Never kuyafuako. The heavy lifting and also the emotional toll, is so heavy, totally heavy. But give your contribution.
Wow.
Or maybe first let me take Uncle Joe, Uncle Jay. This is our uncle on this platform. Let me just take Uncle Jay's. Uncle Jay, make your contribution.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ambassador Mwamba. And unfortunately, we are living in a time that we never thought would actually live in. I think this one is actually played out. It is shocking to hear that State House would actually come out and say, no, the president did order the closure of the courts. I think the truth is written all over that this was an instruction that was given to our judicial system, that they should not accept or allow any form of petition, because we saw it before that. We saw the military the days before that had surrounded that area. So we are really living in a time that as Zambia, we never ever thought would actually ever live in. What do we do as a people? We can choose as a people to say we don't want this, or we can actually live with it and say it's okay. But everything lies squarely on us. Our leaders did their part. They presented themselves. We really needed leadership. Remember how we struggled and were looking forward to who would actually lead. And the two sons of Zambia stepped out, and the people followed. This is the alternative. This is what we've been looking for. But unfortunately, we see what has happened. Those people can't fight anymore. It is up to us to stand up and say, we are not going to accept it. This will not allow you to destroy our country before our own eyes. People shed blood. You know, for me, these people have crossed the line. The killing of Mutatu is they crossed the red line. And it is up to us to decide. I want to agree with you when you spoke about having foreign entities having come into Zambia. There were certain videos. You know, we know ourselves. You know, when I meet a Zambian, be it in the States or anywhere, I would know the way we talk, the way we walk, you would tell, you know, and the way those soldiers were walking, the fact that they couldn't say anything, the fact that they covered their faces, really that plays right in our thoughts. There could be Tanzanians that could have come in Zambia and did that. They could have mixed with certain Zambian soldiers, but we can agree that indeed those were foreign entities that had entered and caused havoc in our country. I thank you, Ambassador.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador. My name is Concerned Citizen.
Concerned Citizen, make your contributions.
No, thank you. First of all, allow me to thank you for your passionate debate today, or whether, I don't know whether I can call it a debate, but your passionate speech today regarding how the situation is prevailing on the ground and putting it the way as it is. I think there's a misguided notion, like you've forcefully emphasized, that there will always be a hero from outside that will protect our rights. There's always be a hero from outside that will protect the democracy that we fought for, the democracy that we reverted to in 1991, as if it's the preserve of somebody out there to do it for us, when it's our responsibility. And also, there's a tendency of being naive and thinking that there are no other vested interests, that those friends from outside might supersede our interests. There might be things that they are looking for in Zambia that supersede and encourage them to look the other way. So it's a very timely call to action, and of one that I think we all need to seriously look into ourselves and see how we can move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I keep on getting annoyed with people saying, but where is the British High Commissioner? Where is the American ambassador? Where want to? That's not your duty. This is your democracy. It's your election. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Yes, I'm a mother. I'm contributing as a mother. Looking at these figures, that the powerful figures, the chairperson of the ECZ, the Chief Justice, the commander of the army and the former president of Zambia, I tend to be, the people's voice or the power of the people is, at this point, was in the ECZ chairperson. And when Parliament was dissolved on the 13th of May, that saw the power of the president. He became a caretaker, so to speak. He is, even now, a caretaker. Then, after that, the people, there was campaign, the opposition leaders were raised and supported, they campaigned, and the UPND government, through President HH, had promised the Zambian people in 2021. And the Zambian people assessed him, they evaluated him and found that he has not delivered. So why should we continue with a person who has not delivered on their promise? And so on the 13th of August, every Zambian, every responsible Zambian went to speak out. So I'm hearing everyone is saying, no, this is up to the people. I think we as the Zambians did what the Constitution demands me as a citizen to do. I went and cast the vote, which is my voice. And then that voice of the Zambian was suspended by the chairperson of ECZ, Mangala Zalomis. So our voices as Zambians have been suspended. And then, after being suspended, we see the army in the ballot rooms and boxes. What do I do? As I'm not a militia. Zambians are not militia. We are not trained to handle guns. We are trained to use the pen, which is mightier than the sword. So, and then those 4 pictures, I'm seeing the image of the former president, HH. What is his role in those 4 images? What is his role there? Because currently, the one who's running the country is the commander of the military there. So the role of President HH, the former president, is not there. If he doesn't know, he has no role in the foundations of the presidency. So the powers of the people have been hijacked by the ECZ chairperson, by the, now we are relying on the Chief Justice. What does the law say? Because now the last resort to salvage us from vouchers or whatever is the Chief Justice. And he has received the petition. So whose voice is he going to adhere to? Is it the voice of the ordinary Zambian person? Because the petitions are from the people, not from the opposition leader who was sought to the people, and the people accepted him. Personally, as a mother, I voted for life for my children and my grandchildren. I voted for posterity, and that posterity is in Brian Mundubile. I cannot hide. My vote is not a secret. So, what do I do if the Chief Justice will not stand by me as mother who's given life? What will I do? What does the Constitution say? Are we going to accept that the commander of the military continues to keep the Constitution in his pocket? Is that what we are saying? Let us not talk about the Zambians. The Zambians are very involved. We went in numbers and we protected the vote. If some have been killed because of protecting the vote, I also risked my life. I was going to be killed by those that same that Karufianya, whatever. But as a mother, I chased him away. He couldn't come near me. So now, our last hope is in the Chief Justice. What does the Constitution say? Because we cannot have a situation where we are being told that the inauguration is going on. Whose inauguration? Is it for the commander or for the commander of the army? It's an inauguration for who? That's my question. An inauguration for who? Because we, the Zambian people, are saying our vote has been stolen, and the Chief Justice is our last hope. We put him there to represent us, the people, unless we've changed. The figure of the former President HH, the 7th Republican President, is he standing for the people or the natural resources of Zambia? Who is he trying to represent here? If it's the people, we've rejected him. So I want to know, what is the remedy? What does the Constitution say when the people reject someone? Do you need 1 million votes to impeach the one who wants to? What is the law saying? Though we know that the Constitution is in the pocket of the commander of the military, the army. But we as Zambians will not go in the streets because we will be shot at.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you.
We know that if he can go to the home of the opposition leader when our vote is suspended, he can do anything. So we are not going out in the streets. As a mother, my voice is, no one is going out in the street. We are protesting in our homes. No one is going to celebrate. This is not the Zambia we know. We always celebrate our leaders. That is who we are as Zambians. That is our foundation. So the presidency is under attack. The foundation of the Zambian presidency is under attack. And the people have rejected those figures. The only last hope there is the Chief Justice. Please come to our aid. We, the people, are very active in the change. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution. Thank you very much. Let me bring my guest, Wachanda Kazia, who's a regular here on this program, and let's just give him a few minutes. All callers, please, let's just give Honorable, my dear brother, former PS Chanda Kazia, to make his contribution. Wachanda, make your contribution.
Thank you very much, Wamemba. Thank you very, very much. First of all, I wish to appreciate you for the consistency. I know it hasn't been easy. You have been on time. You have a lot of, it's stressful. But again, the consistency of the messaging is what is bringing a lot of hope to many Zambians. It's the consistency of the message that you've been bringing. And also the facts which are verified. Once you bring information here, it is difficult for people to just argue. They will be in the groups, they will go, and they are all converging on the page and just going on unpalatables. One of the easiest signs of people that are failing to have a meaningful conversation and providing the alternative is when you see profanity. When you see the first thing the person doing is insulting people, demeaning, calling people very demeaning words, names and things like that, it gives you a sign. Now, coming to the issues that you have raised today, I would want to speak about one, the election petition, and also allegations of foreign entities and the close of the court. You know, when we had breaking news, I remember that was the day we had the breakfast in, breakfast news and the analysis. They were very quick to say that was not real. The next thing, people started complaining, wanting to see evidence. You threw out a video there of the actual premises of the court going on. And people now, the people started reacting to that message. Now, what was very funny, after that, I had some engagement with some of my colleagues that support the UPND, and I was telling them to say, you see, when you have run out of lies, you start to attack the truth and wanting the truth to look like their lies. And everyone was saying, no, the courts are not closed. Okay, very good. The courts are not closed. Let's go through the process. The first thing, you designate the court, the constitutional court, as a crime scene. Those yellow papers that were yellow things they were putting there and labeled crime scene. Then number two, you tell the workers to go home because they're not secure. Then the third thing, miraculously, the registry is open. It's a crime scene. On that crime scene, workers have been told to go home, and then the registry is open. And no one is getting there. We are not receiving petition. I was like, do you think people are really that stupid or that dumb that they cannot put two and two, one and one together? The level of deception, the level of manipulation. Once you say something that is true, or they see a loophole somewhere, they will jump on that, twist it, and start projecting it. Right, left, center. And one of the things that I appreciate about the Zambians is that even when you do that, they will tell you you are not telling the truth. And if you start forcing it, they'll be looking at you and start agreeing with you. Yes, yes, yes. Actually, yes, 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 yes. But they know, we all know, that the courts were closed. And there's nothing that anyone can do to sugarcoat it. And now they start organizing their, I don't want to use offensive words here. I will not use them. I'm constrained. Some of the ill-informed cadres to start now talking about the electoral process, the court, that there was no one who stop it. They closed the court. And the Chief Justice is aware, he knows it. It's so disappointing. It's so disappointing, right? First of all, the executive is gone. You have seen what you raised about Patrick Kang, a man that was respected. We loved him. We heard what you said, serious, focused. And all of a sudden, he starts to parrot Kawana. He starts to parrot Kawana. Why? The executive is gone. The legislature, gone. The electoral system, gone. And these are people that have immense power. And they just choose to connive and do wrong things against the people. The last hope of any country, any country, everywhere on earth, is a judiciary. It is a judiciary. Now, the judiciary gets compromised in a manner we have seen. You close under the bogus of saying, oh, there's some threats. Who is causing these threats who you failed to arrest? You send the cadres, they go and cause confusion, and then you come and say security risk. You did that on the election day. Karufianya goes there to cause confusion, and the people have been mentioning Karufianya. What do? Nothing. Quiet. He's become a hero. Quiet, and no one. Oh, there was security. Can we start holding people accountable? If those people that went to disturb peace at the courts, where are they? What are their names? You stage manage the disruption so that you close. And then what is so embarrassing, I was so embarrassed when I saw Mwale, a union leader. It's not, Mwale as a union leader is not a novice. He must know better. He starts now to go that, oh, now I'm telling all the judicial workers to go, not to work. What powers do you have? Is it a strike action now? That is, when did you sit down to resolve those disputes? It's embarrassing. We come now to what we all suspected. I suspected this allegation of having these people, these soldiers that are not Zambians. There are pictures that were flying around. And when you look at them, I was like, anyway, there could be our soldiers. But our soldiers are not brutal to that level. They have a sense of reason. Our soldiers have a very good sense of reason because they live in our communities. They have families. Some of them, families that have been incarcerated without appearing in court. The only group of people that can do that are people without any remorse. If they kill Zambians, if they beat Zambians, it doesn't affect them in any way. And this allegation of foreign entities, foreign soldiers, we have to be on it. It has to be investigated. Because we had so many questions that our soldiers never behave like this. Since independence, in an election, yes, they would behave like that when we have kind of like a riot.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, PS. Stay on. You are coming on. Let's just take 4 or 5 calls. Call us quickly. Call. We hear from you. I've been joined by former Permanent Secretary Chanda Kazia, who's helping me with the analysis. I like the old lady who said she didn't fear, Karufianya when he came to their polling station. She actually feared the soldiers when they stormed in. But she kept on saying President Hakainde Hichilema is former president, and she's right. His term ended, he's in the transition period. That's why they are rushing to get him inaugurated and sworn in so that he can now assume his second re-election. And that's why they are preventing this process that has questioned that his election was bogus. Let's just take some calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and make your contribution.
Yes, Wamamba. Thank you very much. This is Anonymous calling from Kitwe.
Yes, Anonymous. Make your contribution.
Wamamba, we want to make it very, very clear that the way things are happening in this country, everyone that has made a decision will be answerable to the decisions they have made, whether you have immunity or whether you do not have immunity. So we have a few questions we want to ask. And the first question is that if State House has distanced itself from that decision of the closure of the courts, the first question is that they need to investigate and tell us within 24 hours who made that decision, and whoever made that decision, which powers were they using, and they will be answerable. Secondly, Vamwamba, we want to tell everyone in charge right now, and I am speaking, Vamwamba, to the Secretary to the Cabinet, Chief Justice, and whoever, that Zambians, we have resorted to peace. We do not want violence, but all we want is a rerun. Nothing else and nothing short. Anything other than that, Wamwamba, no Zambian is willing to go any further than that. We submit.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution. Yes, good day, my brother.
I'm a concerned citizen and a devoted Christian, Catholic by faith. I'm just disappointed by Patrick Kangwa. I think tomorrow he should go and get confession, and he must not be in the Eucharist, because we all know that Patrick Kangwa is a devoted Catholic. Eronika for pera Eucharistia. Nika for church. Ero if for a Catholic to watch that depend by the 10 commandments. We have a pogo fee. But what we are reading in the social media is so disturbing. Patrick Kangwa is very disappointing to us. Let him go and get confession tomorrow. And if he doesn't, let him be excommunicated from the Catholic Church. Let him join other churches. Because Catholic, we don't believe we are very disappointed by Patrick Kangwa.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I don't know how the Catholic Church goes now. Someone is calling for his excommunication. We'll leave it to the church. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening. My name is Zambia, and this is my contribution.
Zambia, make your contribution.
Thank you so much. So I just have a number of issues that I would like to raise. And number one, the petition was sent right in time, yesterday as provided. And that's why these people closed that court. They don't have any other explanation. We are no kids. We expect to be treated with respect and with dignity, not saying, oh, security, crime scene. So those things are by the way. That is their own issue. What we know is they didn't want the people's petition to go in. That petition is not coming from Brian Mundube or Make Bisulu. It is the people's petition, and that's why we are seeing a lot of people complaining and calling. What President Hakainde Hichilema and this Ziere are doing are torturing the people. But that's by the way. Then number two, I want to appeal to the Chief Justice. I don't know what Bakangwa saw or what he thinks. In Zambia, we have what is called separation of powers. So the executive does not anyhow mix with the judiciary. They don't. These are two different entities. So with the judiciary, the hierarchy or the jurisdiction, the petition was already sent to the direct person that is above, on top of the judiciary. So I understand the coming in of the chief administrator to say, oh, it was out of time. She's not in charge of any response to the people. Why? Because the acknowledgement from the Chief Justice already states that the petition will be sent to the Concord, and the Concord will decide whether to hear it or not. So her response does not amount to where the petition has already reached, according to the response that we have gotten. So she lacks jurisdiction to administer or to make judgment over this matter. This is the matter of the people versus these people that you have displayed on the display. And I want to appeal to our Chief Justice. He swore that he will protect the Constitution and the people of Zambia. We pay his salary and all his allowances. We don't care what's at stake. What's at stake are the lives of many millions of Zambians. We know that President Hakainde Hichilema did not win these elections, hence all the happenings. We are saying let him be former president. We are not saying he should go and die. No, he can always be former president and let other people also take authority. Also, in law, there is something called a reasonable man. These people closed the courts. They closed all modes of communication. The Chief Justice understands about the postal law and what it says. For example, if yesterday this petition was sent even via DHL, so long as someone had a receipt and they say we have sent it, even if it never reached the court, the law says that thing is valid. He knows, and all these people, they know. So he received it right in time. They cannot play this thing they are doing. The inauguration must not go through because it cannot go through. This is what the Constitution demands. You cannot go in and swear in a man using a Constitution that you are insulting day and night. It's never done. So, dear Chief Justice, Zambia is in your hands, and we don't expect you to save the interest of Ziyele or President Hakainde Hichilema. No, you have to nullify the elections because that's the right thing to do, and that's what we expect you to do. You closed the court. The State House are saying they didn't order that closure, that you did. They are tarnishing your name. So I know you are under pressure, but you can do the right thing because under reasonability, there is no way you can close the court, close all modes of communication, and then argue to say we didn't receive in the registrar. There is no format. Like, those things are crap. These people have received the petition. The highest man on top of the institution has acknowledged, and he has said he has transferred, or maybe given it to the right people, which is the Concord, where it's supposed to end. So where does the chief administrator come in? No, he doesn't come in. She doesn't come in at this point. She's not the right person to address. This is a matter of court. It's a matter of order. What it needs, that thing, it's an order. And then to the Zambian people, we have the Constitution. The Constitution has told you that you have a right to peacefully demonstrate. So, if a Constitution says you can do this, it allows you. It's not a crime. It's not a crime. What these people are doing, shooting of people, scampering of people, it's not allowed. It's criminal. You have the right, and whatever the Constitution allows you, it's something you can do, provided you are within the law, what is described. Peaceful. Write placards and say what you want to see. Do not close doors while your democracy is sleeping off just because of 3 people. Zambia is not a monarchy where we are going to have President Hakainde Hichilema, then a relation there, a relation there. We cannot have family decide the affairs of 21 million Zambians. It's never done. We cannot allow this, and many Zambians, we should not just be calling to complain. No, if you are in Zambia, do something. Find out what the law says. What does it say? When you are not happy, do that thing to lay your grievances and stop crying.
Thank you.
These people cannot feel you. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
All right. So I want to just speak concerning the manner in which the elections were conducted and the result. There is a lot of questions, not only to people one region, but everywhere in Zambia. So, first of all, we need to look at the manner in which the election were being handled. You can't say free and fair election or democracy is not just allowing the citizens to go and cast the votes at the ballot paper. No.
but to ensure to say, when people speak through their votes, their will or their wish must be respected. But what has happened is totally different. It's more like this is mocking people, whereby they set the day to say we should go and vote. We go and line up. Some people were even waking up area like 0302, just preparing to say I should be able to go ahead so that I can cast my vote and return. Some people are even traveling from one location to another just to go and vote. But then, after people voting, then the will of the people has not been respected. They do their own ningarato, as they call them, and then they want to impose themselves on people against the will of the people. Not even what they have come up saying, no, Mpundu wanted to do treason and all that. It is them that are doing that. And they are even using foreign soldiers, foreign people that are to bring confusion in the free and fair election that we are supposed to have, in the democracy that we are supposed to enjoy as Zambians, which has never happened before.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador Mwamba, thank you so much for the work you're doing. My fellow Zambians is Patrick Chilufya, your friend from the UK. And Mwamba is really, really sad. You know, we've got a person, one person, literally, you know, one of the speakers said, this man is controlling, it's supposed to be separation of powers, Ramwamba. And Ramwamba, you mentioned about the rule, adherence to the rule of law as part of the African Union, conditions for election. But Ramwamba, we've got a president who is a, I don't want to use certain words. I'm trying to constrain myself, but it's Bamwamba Uyumuntu. Because Bamwamba, I think what he was planning is he wanted people to protest and arrest more people, probably even declare a state of emergency. Because Bamwamba, whatever this administrator, where has she come from? Because they said most of the So how come now she's responding? Who told her to respond? Bamwamba, there is just one person telling him, and this is not a president, he's the president-elect. But he's still the one making decisions. Bamwamba, there's separation of power. So Bamadila, inefo na Bamona, la Chief Justice. Na start knowledge poka nani petition batumana ku Concord. Chiremura kwat naba samba mwetaulo niba pilato. I've sent it to the right office. I think what we need to do, Mwamba, is just that Zambians. We need now to petition the Concord. And say, Concord, you shouldn't wait until next week on Monday. Please tell us your decision now. Because there was no way, Mwamba, the online system doesn't work. People try to do it. Somebody wanted to do it on Saturday, so what else? I want to back attention, Mwamba. But no funny, Bamwamba, we are in trouble. We've got a president who Ulandati, Aleta Shaba Kumalawi. For what treaty and everything, and yet he's doing contrary to those things. We've got a president Bamwamba who says, "Gonna win now. I'm gonna declare my assets every year, including my ministers and everything." No, this means Bamwamba, this man is not a leader. A true leader leads by example. A true leader has integrity. True leader alikwata empathy, alikwata oluse. Waipa yakafwaya. Instead of just say Banaikata, we can more people again. He wants to stay in power for as long, no matter what everybody says. Because that's why
there is Bachilufia. There is fundamental issue raised that Nalishebo Imata found time to write a letter to the Secretary to Cabinet. So the courts are closed, sealed and closed. No one is allowed to. So she's written a letter on a judiciary letterhead and stamp. And I live on Bashani.
So let me finish Bamwamba. Bamwamba is using military leadership. Bamwamba is not about power. Leadership is not about authority. I mean, for 20 years. Because this is Bamwamba, he has declared a state of emergency. But that's a process. A legal state of emergency. They're president already, but not to declare a state of emergency. But Bamwamba, we are going to be in trouble. Because we've got a president now who has made the military, but military no nobody take a child. He's gonna be spending more money on military. Tanzania, 125 vehicles in his convoy, in a convoy from the airport. How much money is that? We are now officially a military state. Prime Minister Waku, one of the Prime Minister Waku, Nami to be a video, you need to play it around by you. One of the Prime Minister Waku Singapore, that when we reach a stage like this, there is corruption from the top to the bottom. There is nothing you can do unless men, our quarter integrity, leaders, they mount a leadership revolution. Bamwamba, the mediocrity happening in our politics needs leadership. And Bamwamba, arrangira mwataka teke chalo kutinya abantu. For how long? Because Bamwamba yumontromba akalatina fena shadow yakwe. How are you going to rule chalo urino mwenso bamilisha basaba nkomki? Gaumfata kamuwingwi haikatabantu atkuliba milisha. What kind of a president are you? Fish uletina, fish watch star. Bamwamba, fish watch star. Nimo pani, uletina. Bamwamba, who single source? Who single source $1 billion deal? Who single source $15 million Rothschild? No foreign Sony. No, we didn't have 100%, and yet everything was saying 100%. Bamwamba, tulino muntu shupile. Niwa papa kalaman. And he's prepared to kill. Tatua kata baba sojo kuingira mu polling station. So Bamwamba gatwatwa ikane, we demand a revolution. We're not, when you say a revolution, I'm talking about a peaceful revolution, leadership revolution. We need to demand a revolution, so we can't have this kind of leader, this mediocre leadership. Bamwamba, not even 2031. But if Kachitiko Bali Randava this one is okay, at up to 29, Bali plan now. Fions if you have militia, both Bamwamba to Aliamona script again. When the presidents want none are obsessed with power, Black Mamba, Black Mamba, zero option. This is the president. Alusa, but I have to have soldiers, my total extensions. And then what does he use? Militia. Who does that? No polling station. Why Salama polling station? No Salama courts. No Salangati. That's why he's failing. Nobody. Who closed them? Because I have But Bamwamba, Who closes the courts when you knew that the petition is part of the constitution? The petition is part of the elections. So who closes the courts? Wamwamba, I rest my case.
Thank you very much.
But we shouldn't give up. We shouldn't give up on our country. We've gone through this. But he has moved that not enchanted territories. These are enchanted waters. And HH is not the one who's going to navigate us in this process because he's not a leader. You require a leader to navigate us in these enchanted territories. But it's up to us Zambians to do everything and demand our country back. I rest my case.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Bamwamba. Hello, Bamwamba.
Hello.
Anonymous Bamwamba.
Yes, anonymous.
Yes, Bamwamba. Pa Sunday na limitumileko some document. Mshishiringa mwalipokele pa namba inei. But anyway, kukuwana Bamwamba ni nchi walantu wale bengi wale kutuma. Bamwamba ndefu afyo kupela kofe some very important example pa kubantu ba Zambia. One, na likeleko ku parliamentary select committee some time back. Afterwards, this is what Honorable Kasonso told us. Imwe ngatamutse demonstrate kuli wa permanent secretary. Tapabefika chitika ifwe va politician we save issues that save our interests as politicians. I don't want to mention the particular parliamentary select committee for fear of revealing other people who were part of it. Now, what I want to say, Mwamba, is that Zambians don't know what is against them. One, HH is a sponsored project by many foreign interests. World Economic Forum, Tony Blair Institute, Oppenheimer in South Africa, and many others, to a point where part of the actions he's doing is because Mumbwepa Kulila na kwato kwa shintilile. Secondly, within the country, he has managed to entirely corrupt the whole system to a point where, as Zambians, as I'm speaking to you and others, we should not even rely on any of these so-called institutions to really come for us. What is remaining, the only option remaining, is to rise against. That's all. Meaning, peacefully demonstrate. And if we can start the sooner, the better. Soldiers cannot kill everyone in the country. That's the first thing. Secondly, we need to make it very clear all the people in the judiciary who did not work are not going to be part of the judiciary next in this country. Secondly, this man is yearly. The days are numbered. He must be held accountable beyond this government or beyond the next 10 governments that will be ahead of us. But more importantly, Bamwamba, everyone hearing you, let's quickly resolve to go to the streets peacefully, countrywide, beginning with Lusaka, Copperbelt. If the Livingstone people will join us, let's do this very quickly, very peacefully, Bamwamba. If they come to kill us, they won't finish. Here I'm calling upon even the so-called educated lawyers. Let them come with their gowns onto the streets. The doctors, the nurses, everyone, and let's prepare. This is not a one-day issue. This must be continuous. Let's not go with stones. The army cannot kill everyone. And once they kill more than a certain number, they are held accountable themselves. And the Zambian people will come and hold accountable to everyone. Otherwise, we are wasting time, Bamwamba. What is against the Zambians is a lot. The project man in State House is a lot of people are behind him. High systems. Not only that, he has corrupted everyone within the whole judiciary, the whole army, everyone, including all these permanent secretaries. What has remained for a common man is simply to bear our chest. Now, Bamwamba, there's been talk about Zambians being docile and not being courageous. I personally don't agree with that. We had Bamama Chikamaneka in this country during independence. Women Bamwamba, in 1991, you saw what happened, the university. What has happened essentially is that Zambians have been trusting the political system to work. So they wait for elections, they push their vote in, they bring in a new government, the same politicians disappoint them. That's what has been happening, and they hang on to this vote for a very long time, waiting things will turn for them. And things are not turning around. The last thing Bamwambande Fukumeva is that, one, what has happened in this country is that when politicians are voted, they dump the voter. Then when they're in those institutions, foreigners who are even behind Nankande, they go to their offices and they get everything that must belong to Zambia. So that the scenario you are going to have today, Bamwamba, is that even those drivers, they can't drive in Tanzania, but Tanzanians drive here. Here, who are these councillors? They say land is finished for Zambian, but foreigners are getting land. Why? The political system, which is corrupt, which is even leading to these problems now we have, does not serve the Zambian. Therefore, Zambian must rise against it and rise peacefully. We've done this in the past, and in the past, things changed. There is no way the current president cannot fall down. If Zambians tomorrow will start, and it must be all Zambians. I know that in Chivolia, in Chipurukusu, wherever, Malamba, when people rise there, these army officers will not contain them. And if the paramilitaries run over the Zambians, they will be accountable for it. I'll talk to you later, Bamwamba. I hope you can remember me.
Thank you, my brother. I'll check the number and I'll get back to you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador. Good afternoon, or whichever time you are in. My name is Ivana Chanda from Kasama.
Thank you. Make your contribution.
My contribution is very, I think, simple, because most of the issues that people have called in, they've already alluded to them. Ambassador, I want to start with the memo that was written by the Chief Justice acknowledging receipt of the petition that was submitted. That's number one. Like you said, within 3 hours, we were more like seeing light at the end of the tunnel. But then, within few minutes, the whole M23 was quiet, if you noticed. And then 2 minutes later, I saw some statement, and this was done by the watchdog, with the letter that has been, I think, to me, Ambassador, if you ask me, that letter by Wakangwa, I doubt it was written by him. It must have been written by those people at State House, because they were quick to post it on Watchdog within a few minutes when they started now speaking. So why should be Watchdog be the one to be the first people to start circulating that letter by Secretary to Cabinet Patrick Kangwa? That's number one. Maybe you didn't pay attention to that. It came straight first by Watchdog, page Pamiago. It says anything. Then we noticed to say, no, when you look at that letter, it had no date. There were a lot of things, the communication was just kind of vague. People analyzed it and they said, this is fake. It could even be fake, but Bakangwa couldn't have written that. They realized to say, no, there is something wrong here. People have already noticed, because like everybody's, we are not down. We are able to analyze issues. Immediately, what do? They do a firefighting by allowing that lady, I don't know, Nadisha or whatever, she seemed to be being used, because even last time she's the one who sent that memo, which didn't even sign, saying that the courts were closed. Then she writes that letter to just, show that there was some communication between her and the Secretary to Cabinet. In the first place, Ambassador, your boss, who's the overall boss, the overall boss, has given a memo out and it's in the public domain, you go and do something which is not even speaking to what your boss has stated. You don't even make reference to that, because she could have made reference to that to say, well, we acknowledge that the Chief Justice has acknowledged receipt of this petition. However, we need to say that she just went like, attacking the Chief Justice. On top of that, Ambassador, if you've worked in government, that whole letter didn't even CC the chief boss. Meaning what? You are sending a letter to Secretary of Cabinet. You don't CC your boss. It's not the boss who signed that letter, who wrote that letter. It's you. And therefore, your boss should be in the know-how. It was not done like that. Everything was done haphazardly. And to me, the whole communication is kind of not correct. And that's why we should not treat them with so much seriousness, because they are taking Zambians as we don't think we are very down. No, we are not down. Ambassador, if you look at the whole thing, it's a circus, if you ask me. It's total confusion. And the other thing, Ambassador, I wanted to just maybe bring out to you. Remember, there was a memo from Amasaka this morning where he was claiming that, no, it's not the president who closed the courts. Meaning, the whole thing was done by who? By the Chief Justice. So, by Chief Justice, Baba Sambilamu. So, meaning, the president and everybody, Baba Chief around Boss Baba Sambilamu, the Chief Justice, go and deal with it. But you'll be cleaned, You have to understand the way they're operating. It's kind of pathetic, treating Zambian as if we are very foolish. No, we are not very foolish. We are very, very up to date with the way things are being done. The best thing they have to acknowledge as government is the petition was received and he has forwarded to the Concord. Let's wait for Concord to give us. We don't want, again, them to come and answer us after the inauguration. Then they'll come and say it has been taken by events. We don't want that.
Thank you, my dear sister.
Let this issue be discussed, be dealt with, Ambassador. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Alright, so bamwamba okulingana n'ofotoole munaza beena Zambia kuba fyestrate abantu nga n'abeeshi batu bali wina my election niye kibaleetera byonse evi because ofotoole muna tafiya tarafi
Have we lost our caller? Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Yes, my issue, sir, is this. You are doing a commendable job, but the safety of people in Zambia to help with your efforts are limited. We don't have the initiatives and the safety. Hello?
Yes, you are on.
Yes. We don't have the safety and the initiatives to mobilize ourselves to add the voice to what you are doing. What you are doing is prudently correct in the eyes of God, in the eyes of man, and in the eyes of everybody else, including the observer missions. But where would we start from as ordinary citizens? Even if we just say, let's go and do a peaceful demonstration, you know what the end result will be. Because everybody is restrained. So everybody is asking, how can we help by Emmanuel Mwamba, my brother? How can we help you? As we are suffocated here where we are. We don't have peace.
No, my brother, let me make it very clear. You're not helping me. It's not about Emmanuel Mwamba. Me, I can do other things. We do this for our country. Yes, we don't do it for ourselves or for our benefits. Even in the next 5 years, I can pursue a PhD. I can do other things. But it's a love of our country, why we do what we do. It's not about me. Don't even cry for me. Like the Lord Jesus Christ told those women that were crying for him. He says, no, cry for yourself. This is about our country and yourselves. It's not about me. I thought I could just clarify that. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Thank you, Mutati. Make your contribution.
First and foremost, if the information that those are Tanzanians, it's a very, very sad development for Zambia. There was no need. If Tanzanian soldiers were coming as peacemakers, well and good. But they are coming, or they are in the country as militia. So you have somebody who's claiming that there is a militia, and yet he is the one actually providing militia on a harmless citizens. No citizen or even on Mpundu's camp. So that should be condemned at the highest level. To the Chief Justice and all members of the judiciary, let them hear the voice of God. What is it that the Zambians want? When you look at everything that is happening today, you can tell that the judiciary has been swallowed by one person, and that is HH. The army has been swallowed by one person, and that is HH. So I just want to add my voice that the judiciary should do the right thing. We have the former president Kaunda, who had 2 or 3 years before his tenure of office. But because he has a heart for Zambians, he gave it away for the betterment of the country. So everyone has got connections. Everyone can do whatever they want to do. So this government and their church should not push people to do wrong things. Yes, we are calling for people to stand and rise, but they should not push people against the goodwill. Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.